This is us at sea in the voyage we just did from Urangan to um, Barnet Heads. A few viewers have asked me some details of the voyage, and so I thought, well, I'll put the video up of the actual voyage. Um, so voyage planning included ports of refuge. There's not many on this. There's none really for keelboats except at high tide. Possibly Elliot Heads and Burnham Heads. Um, but another option on this voyage is to go further out to sea towards the lee of Fraser Island, which is off to our starboard. Um, and there's a few anchorages there if the wind is in the east or south. Um, but going outside completely of Fraser Island from avoiding the Great Sandy Strait was another question. Um, you're way offshore there in the EAC in the East Australian Current. And when you get to the north, the other hazard is when you get to the north of Fraser Island, there's a very complex waterway called Breaksea Spit, which is a very long sandbar, and it's got adverse tides that go west and east. And sadly, a friend of mine went down with his yacht there last year. Anyway, this is us coming into Barnet Heads at night. It's worth looking at this approach. There's leading lights, and you have to follow the leading lights in. And I don't know, can you see here? There's a lighthouse. You can see the lighthouse. Now, you really want to come into Barnet Heads on a flood tide because there's quite a strong outflow. Certainly, if you're a small yacht like us, you want to come in on a flood tide. And we're going to go up the Barnet River here for only about a mile, less than a mile, really, I think. And this is where we snuck into the very shallow haven, which is really, it's not really for any size of yacht except a very small yacht like us, or a multi-hull perhaps. And it's not to be recommended. Most people would carry on another mile and go to the marina. It's also shallow, but here is the boat haven, and this is the entrance. We came in at night and we promptly ran aground, but as I said, it was a flood tide. I knew it was a flood tide, so I was happy for us to sit in the mud until the tide floated us, and then we swung into deeper water. The marine rescue people over there, you'll see, and it was a good shelter because the wind was coming in, and you can see here the wind came in. In fact, we were, as I think I mentioned in the previous video, we were stuck here for 2 weeks with a lot of strong northerly wind, and in southerly wind as well. It went to the south as well, so we weren't going anywhere, but it's an enjoyable place to be, Barnet Heads, and as we got ready for the next stage of the voyage.